The FlexGrid tie-in application is like a giant virtual buddy system. Anything in green is considered a main application type or system player. So those are the 12 that were on the list before.
Correct.
That we saw in there, green on the map.
So just as a visual representation, we're talking here, okay? 12 groups, okay? It's at the group level if you're talking clear to the world building pieces, okay? So that's kind of like at the group level. Okay, go ahead.
Any main application type player may be linked or joined to any other main application type or player. So, like Brandon uses the example, they can hold hands with any of those players. You can create connections, even if those connections wouldn't normally exist. You can create a tie between them. It is also possible to link same application types together. Example, customers to other customers. So that would maybe be a relationship that wasn't normally in place, because obviously your invoices and customers would already be linked. You already know you're selling your invoices to customers, but you wouldn't necessarily link customers to customers probably very often, but you could. Each main application type, green, may have up to 15 custom fields that may contain special data or values. I do have a comment on this one, because when I first heard it, I thought it was, oh, you get 15 custom fields, but that's actually per application type. So any of those green boxes, you could put 15 custom fields, and that doesn't even count how many sub-fields you can have underneath that. So like you saw in Brandon's, even with tracking the school data, so there were all these different subjects. There were way more than 15, but that was just a subcategory under subjects, like school subject. So essentially, you can create this huge database for everyone, for customers or for vendors or for any of those application types. You can do your own database on top of it, essentially.
Awesome. I'm just going to hit back real quick and just show you what she's talking about here, okay? So look at this. Under balance sheets, I currently have one custom field being used, okay? Under deposits, I currently have one custom field. Let me scroll down to students, okay? Under students, I currently have 12 of my custom fields being built. And this is how I built my custom fields out under students, okay? Those are all the different little pieces that I wanted. But what she's saying is she's saying under vendor, I could have 2, 3, 4. Watch this. See how this one says other one? We'll just kind of just now right up here, if I say I want to do a vendor and I want to call, and this one's going to actually be a drop down. Okay, so watch this. If I scroll all the way down, look at this. I'm starting to slowly build my database on top of vendors. Add sub. Literally, it's this easy to build your pieces of the puzzle. Okay, so each category, each group, technically gets its own 15 that you want to build, if you need them. If not, you just skip it. You just skip it. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll go right back to your help file. Sorry.
No, that was great. I think that's incredibly powerful. And even as you just kind of showed, even that's adjustable. You can make your template to catch whatever kind of data you want. So you can type in an open thing, or you could have it be a specific, it has to fit into these criteria. So it's so neat. It's your own custom database for whichever application type you're wanting to track. So it's really powerful. Number 5, each of the custom fields listed above gets its own name, title or alias, and an optional preset values drop-down list. So kind of what he just showed you. So you can have an open entry field, you can have a drop-down list. All extra or special fields are fully searchable, which is amazing. And you can search any of those with your FlexGrid. One thing you will want to know is if it's in FlexGrid, if it's contained in your FlexGrid database even, that's where you're searching for it. So if it's linked to your customers, right, and you went to search for, oh, I put their eye color in blue, and you were in your customers and your quick search, it wouldn't find it because it's in your FlexGrid part. So that's, I'm just saying, you would want to know where it's at, because if it's in your FlexGrid database, that's where you're going to search for it. But then they're all searchable. It will bring up anything within that. I hope I'm not speaking false information. That's great, right? Okay. Each piece of FlexGrid acts as an assignment or connection within the virtual buddy system. So it connects all the pieces together. And you can see all those connections.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. That's perfect. Exactly what we're trying to kind of accomplish, okay? So in our particular industry right here, okay, like watch this. Say we wanted to go back to Abby again. Now I can get to her in tons of different ways, okay? Abby, log, add a new FlexGrid tie-in. I literally, it could be this simple. I could add notes and be done, add a date, searchable. I could create relationships. I could use any of these. These are my custom fields that I did. Watch this. I could go right here. I'm doing core tracking. She is 3 years old. I'm just pretending. She's doing the learning subjects, and to sciences are down here. Let's say life sciences, looking at bugs. Who knows? Like, we're going to actually populate this as well, but like I have a whole bunch that I have to populate on that one. So that's why we're going to break it into a two-step process as they get deeper. And then watch this. Rating score. She's just barely emerging. And come down to the bottom and add it. Boom. Okay. So now at the bottom down here, I have this. Okay. Type. It's core tracking. She was 3 years old. Approaching to learning a science. Here's this. She's emerging. Here's my. I can have notes or whatever. So any of these pieces now that are in this FlexGrid, I could technically search, and it could get me right back to Abby's information. So let's try the word learning right here, okay? Come up, using the quick search, L-E-A-R-N, learn. What have I got? It pulled me to this data right here, which is then connected to Abby's record. Abby Jones is right here, okay? Click, I can get onto her, now I can totally look at her stuff. But I can quickly pull that right back out of this. I can, all sorts of crazy stuff. You can export it and then filter it, and then like basically it's kind of like your own little virtual database. Okay, but I don't know exactly what else to say. it's
really cool.
It is a powerful, flexible piece of Atlas, and it's being used in tons of different ways. The way that Steve puts it, Steve is kind of one of the primary partners in Atlas. He's like, I don't think we've seen the bottom of that rabbit hole yet. That's how we basically put it, okay? But it's basically a custom, flexible thing. Like if you learn Atlas and you understand what we do, you'll hear these words: dynamic, custom, flexible, like just in time. Right? The whole entire application is kind of set up so that it can kind of flex and bend and do different things. And it's the difference between an old rigid plastic figure that's set in a one, like say an army guy, and you have him, he's posed in a certain thing. Well, if you want him to walk, you have to kind of like wiggle him back and forth like this, and make him jump, and he's still posed in the same thing, okay? You can still play with him and have fun, but he's in a rigid position. Imagine a G.I. Joe figure where you can move joints and things like this. You can, change hand grips and turn heads, and like it's more flexible. So we play in that environment. But as we play in that, we keep adding more and more flexibility so that it kind of lets us do something. Tanya, that's a good idea for you there. The little army guy that's rigid versus a little G.I. Joe figure.